How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the brand new third season of Buddy's House of Horror podcast. I am so excited to get this season underway with you guys. If you're brand new to the show, just to give you a brief introduction to what's going on here, we're talking all things horror. We're talking horror films, horror literature. We always have some amazing guests on the show. I'm talking actors, filmmakers, writers, and even people with some experience with the supernatural and the unknown. We cover everything from ghosts, goblins, even some true crime stuff. Like in the past, we've had guests on the show that have been high school friends with Jeffrey Dahmer, some true crime experts. And with this season, the chills and thrills are gonna be even better. We're gonna have some new friends on the show, some old friends on the show. And not only are you gonna be getting episodes of the House of Horror podcast once a week, also every week you're gonna be getting some sort of other podcast related content, whether it be an episode of the Two Nerds podcast, a top 10, or just anything else random that we decide to do on the show. Again, I'm really excited to get this season underway, and I'm really excited to collaborate with so many great people to make this show happen. Just on this season alone, we're gonna have some amazing actors, we're gonna have a film distributor, the owner and operator of a witchcraft museum, and just so much more. I can't wait to get things underway. I am very fortunate and privileged to have my first guest on the show be my good friend Jenna Kramer. Jenna and I have worked together for many, many years on tons of awesome horror-related projects. We first met on the set of Hell at Heathridge back at Kent State, and since then she's done some incredible things, including working on Zombieland 2. And yeah, Jenna's just awesome. She's extraordinarily talented, and I couldn't have asked for a better first guest for season 3. So without further ado, we're just gonna get right to the show. Again, if you guys are new to the show, or if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you were to turn on notifications, you'll be notified when I release new videos and podcasts. Again, this October, you're hopefully gonna be getting 31 videos on the channel. And this is the first season where all the brand new episodes are gonna be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and basically anywhere else that you're going to be getting your podcasts. So if you prefer to listen to this on one of those streaming services, make sure that you subscribe to the show over there and leave the show a rating and review. It really helps me out a lot. And again, if you prefer to watch it on YouTube, that is the option as well. Again, I suggest that you subscribe to me on both platforms because you're going to be getting a lot of stuff on both this month. And yeah, again, without further ado, I'm just going to get right to the show. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy my conversation with my good friend Jenna Kramer. And now let's get spooky.
It's been so long.
I know, it's crazy. So what's been going on?
Well, I've been in Atlanta for the past, 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But you got married though, right?
I did. That's the thing that happened, yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a year and 2 months almost already, yeah. So it's crazy.
Wow. Happy belated anniversary.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so I saw on Facebook that you actually just started a tea company. That's really exciting.
I did, thank you.
Yeah?
Yes, it's called 4 Stages Tea and Herbals. I'm calling it 4 Stages because after you pick the tea leaf, the tea making process, the orthodox tea making process, goes through 4 different stages: withering, rolling, oxidation, and drying. And then I related that to a butterfly's life cycle, which is 4 stages. And so I like to say, when you drink my tea, you emerge into a healthier version of yourself. Healthier, more vibrant version.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, at the time of this recording, you actually just announced it, but by the time people hear this, it'll have been out there in the world for a couple months. So do you have how did you first get into tea?
Yeah, well, actually, I think it's just something that, well, not tea necessarily, but I've always been passionate about plants and earth. Always, played outside as a kid and kind of just I remember grabbing clovers one day and just eating the red clover out of the field when I was a kid. And ironically enough, now I know that red clover is actually one of nature's best vitamin and mineral supplements.
Oh, really?
But my tea company kind of came out of a love for medicinal herbalism, and just something that. So I moved to Atlanta for acting, and obviously acting is definitely a roller coaster journey. There's lots, I mean, there's ups and then there's lots of downs. So I was kind of in a place in life where I didn't really know what brought me joy anymore, to be honest. I was like praying about it for a long time, but I don't, what brings me joy. And I ended up listening to this book, this audio book, and I forget what it was called, but it was some type of scary story. It was about like
Oh, really?
witches. Yeah. And they called them the herbalists. And these herbalists were bad people. They were trying to poison this girl. But they're talking about the herbalists and all of these like plants. And I was like, what is this herbalism? I didn't know anything about it, which is kind of crazy. I'd never realized that our medicine comes from just everyday plants, really.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, through this book and through them talking about the herbalists, I researched herbalism and came across Rosemary Gladstar, who is actually one of my favorite herbalists. And I read her book, her like beginner guide to medicinal herbalism. And that was my start of my interest and passion into that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think when we were talking about tea on like a horror podcast, it was gonna come back to spooky stuff. You
Right.
said like the herbal is kind of like a spooky book, so that's very interesting. That I didn't know that. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, obviously you just started doing it. What are some of the like flavors that you have right now?
So I have my Spice Bush Masala Chai, which masala chai actually means spiced tea. It's an Indian tea, a traditional Indian tea. I'm actually serving that at a crepe shop that I work at in the city called Juliana's. So I have that one. I also have a loose leaf called Bask in the Sunshine, which is a green tea blend. And then I have a chocolate mint breakfast, Irish breakfast tea. I have this immunity tonic blend, which has elderberries in there, lots of vitamin C, rose hips, orange peel. And then I have one called Lady Lavender, which is an Earl Grey lavender blend.
Oh,
And there's one more. An orange blend, a Ceylon tea.
wow. That sounds really great. I'm gonna have to get some at some point. Where can people get the tea?
So you can go to fourstagestea.com. Right now it's in the coming soon, undergoing metamorphosis phase. But yeah, eventually you can get it online. And you can follow me on Instagram to kind of keep up on all of the coming soon things.
Yeah, what's the Instagram name?
It's Four Stages Tea.
Awesome. So hopefully a lot of people out there go ahead and follow this stuff. I have a lot of people who listen to the show that are sort of into like the witchy, like herbalism kind of thing. So that
Okay.
hopefully that ties in well with them. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, this is like one of your first times diving into like the business world. What has it sort of been like doing all that kind of stuff? Because I'm sure you had to like design your own logo and do this and that. So what has that whole experience been like?
Yeah, wow, it's been crazy. Being the owner of your own company and being the sole employee is just so overwhelming. Oh my gosh, it's given me a respect for a lot of different fields, especially the technical side of web design.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take on myself. And the other day I was talking to this man, like, bless his heart, on this Google customer service man for an hour, and he was answering all kinds of questions about like TXT records, all these things I can't even remember anymore because it's confusing to me. But yeah, it's been a lot, but I've also been fortunate to be connected to a lot of people who have been able to advance things for me and just, you know, um, help me along, people who have more knowledge than I do on, certain things. So,
Yeah. Well,
really nice.
something you do have a lot of knowledge on is acting. It's obviously what made us become great friends. For those of you who don't know, I'm speaking to one of my very, very good friends, Jenna Kramer. We worked on tons of projects together over the years. We first met back in college on some films we were working on together. So that's really when I first got to know you. There was in college. But let's take a journey back into when you first sort of got interested in acting and all of that. What can you tell me about how you started out?
So, there wasn't like one specific moment where I knew I wanted to be an actor. It all kind of came together just through life experience. And I would say that it started, though, at a very young age, my love for performing. My parents actually enrolled me in ballet classes at the age of 5 because I was always super quiet. Like, so much so that my preschool teachers didn't think I could even talk. And so my parents were like, yeah, we need to get her, around other people besides just like the dog. um, so yeah, they enrolled me in ballet class, and that's kind of how I think I got so comfortable performing on a stage in front of people and just really enjoying feeding off of the audience and the audience's applause. And even though I am more of a quiet person, I think I like being the center of attention.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like my Leo personality, which
Yeah.
I always think that stuff was kind of silly, like trying to say that you know somebody based on their sign. But the other day I actually downloaded this astrological
Hmm.
sign app, and it was
Yeah.
saying that Leos like to be the center of attention. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate to that. I'm a fire sign as well. I'm an Aries. So obviously, and you know me very well in person. Before I really get to know someone, I am super quiet, super awkward and everything. But then, I mean, I'm hosting.
Not awkward.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm hosting shows on YouTube. I act as well. I like to be the center of attention as well. So, like, I guess we sort of relate in that way.
Yes.
But yeah,
You're very
as you were saying, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, so I did ballet up until middle school, and then I did cheerleading for a while. Um, Ultimately, I didn't love that, but I remember I wanted to audition for the high school team, and on the day of tryouts, I got this like really bizarre knee injury,
Uh-oh.
and so my audition was terrible. I didn't get in. And then the next day, like this knee injury just went away miraculously.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm a Christian, and I definitely believe that that's a God moment, because if I would have made the cheerleading team, like my entire life probably would have been different. Because I didn't make that team, I went back into ballet. I was in this youth ballet company, did the Nutcracker every year, which, is one of the reasons why I think I fell in love with acting, as well as I did drama club in high school, was in the musicals and the plays. And just from there, I ended up going to this Broadway workshop in high school and ended up getting really interested in musical theater, and ended up going to Kent State, where I met you, and
Mm-hmm.
majored in theater. And I was told there at Kent State that I was better suited for film and television. So I started taking more on-screen camera classes. That's when I auditioned for Hell at Heathridge through Kent State Independent Films. And I think it was through that experience, through Hell at Heathridge, that I was really like, I love this. I want to pursue screen acting.
So, when was the last time you did a stage performance? I know it's probably been a while.
It has. The last time was college. It was A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, how was that?
Wow. Oh, I loved it. I was one of the fairies.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I can see
got to
it.
sing and dance on stage. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So obviously you were more interested in the on-screen stuff. What really sort of drove you? Because I know you said one of your professors sort of leans you in that direction, but did you feel that like the on-stage thing wasn't for you, or did you just sort of gravitate towards the screen, or like what was it about it?
Um, I think that I've always been more of a soft spoken type of person, and I mean I think that's another thing that kind of drew me towards it. I felt like I didn't have to shout essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to project.
yeah. I don't know. I love this. I love the stage, but something about screen acting is just I love watching movies and TV, and I think that a film has the power to change the world, or like to give out like a powerful message that has potential to change things for the positive. And I think when you're watching a film, you can empathize with people, which can then lead to more compassion.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the difference between stage and screen acting is like staggering, basically. Because I mean, like as I said, you need to project, you need to be overly animated, so your acting and your reactions aren't just for the people up front, but it's for the people all the way in the back. So I always related to screen acting a lot more as well, even though I am like a really animated person, because it's just a lot more natural. Because like in the theater, like you're never gonna talk how you actually talk in real life, you know?
Yeah, it's it is more natural in a way, but at the same time, not.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But yeah.
Yeah, speaking of unnatural, you mentioned that you were in Hell at Heathridge, obviously. That's where we first met and everything. Was that your first? I know that was your first like feature film, but was that like your first film of any kind, or did you do any films before that?
That was my first film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so let's sort of journey back to that. How did you first hear about the production, and what made you be like, okay, I think I want to audition for this. I think I want to make this be my first one.
Oh my goodness, it's been so long, so I'm trying to even remember how I heard about it. I heard about it from a friend who was a film major. I'm pretty sure he told me about it, and that's how I ended up auditioning. Also, I probably saw it advertised in the Music and Speech building because I'm
Probably,
pretty sure KSUIF does that.
as I say, you probably saw it for a brief period because I went and hung up all of those things all over music and speech, and I actually heard that they got taken down just a few days
Oh,
later because
wow.
the theater department didn't want us like stealing their talent, basically. I guess from what I heard, but yeah, I heard they got taken
That's
down.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
it all worked out well for us because we still got you anyway. So, but
Oh,
it is what it is. And I remember you were actually one of the first people we auditioned for the film because I think we did like 3 or 4 weekends of auditions. I remember you were one of the first ones. And what can you tell me about the audition experience because it was obviously your first one for a film.
hmm I remember just having fun with it. I mean, the audition was for Emily, who is this the sweet, innocent college student at first, who then becomes possessed by this demonic force. So I remember Tyler Pena just like telling me to just go for it. And as acting like this like demonic creature. I don't know. I remember being nervous about it, but just I don't know, having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, because I remember like going in, because by the time auditions started, we had already been working for like 2 or 3 months, just like getting everything together, up to the point where we could have auditions. And I remember all of us just being like, casting Emily is going to be like the hardest one to do, because it's such like a creepy role. But you were the first one we auditioned for the role, and I think
Oh,
after you left, we were like, okay, we don't need to see anyone else for that role. I mean, that was it.
that's
So
such a compliment.
yeah, well, that's what happened, man. I mean, that's exactly how it went. I don't even think we gave you a callback. Did we give you a callback? I think we were just like,
I don't think
yeah,
so.
we were just like,
I think
yeah,
I got support, yeah, like a
yeah.
few days.
Yeah, I think we were just like, yeah, that's it. Because everyone else went through like 2, 3 rounds of callbacks, but like for yours, we were just like, nope, there it is. So
Yeah, I had so much fun with that role.
yeah. What was your reaction when you first found out that you got the part, if you can remember?
Oh, I was thrilled. I was very excited.
Yeah.
I probably called my mom, who's one of my best friends, to tell her that I got the part like right away. Um, yeah, I remember being very excited
Yeah. Uh,
and started preparing for that role and actually had a lot of freaky things happen.
yeah. I remember you telling me these stories when they happened. Something
Yeah.
about like your alarm clock at like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That did happen. But then other weird things happened. Like I started having nightmares. Um, like nightmares that I was walking through a river of blood, a recurring nightmare.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that summer I moved into my own apartment, my first apartment that I've lived at by myself. And I remember like taking a shower and my music was on, like on my phone, and then the music suddenly shuts off and my phone just presses a bunch of sixes consecutively.
Oh
It was
my.
so scary. It was so scary. And then I started hearing noises in my kitchen. Yeah, I did not spend the day in my apartment that day.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to hang out? I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, so some creepy stuff was going on at the time, and you yourself, I mean, because that's was part of what made it, I don't want to say like surprising because obviously like you're a great actor and everything, but it made it sort of interesting because like you came into the audition, I mean, you came on set, like this pretty young girl, blonde girl next door type, and then all of a sudden like this switch flips and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah. I think I was definitely experiencing some of the demonic side of things because I was focused so much on that role. And I don't know, I mean, I love playing characters outside of myself,
Hmm.
and that is very much not me. So, I
How
don't
did
know.
you how did you prepare for the role? Like, were you watching any films, or were you like how did you sort of get into that mindset?
I used a lot of my Meisner training. I want to say I was doing like emotional preparations for it. Uh, I think I watched scary films. I remember the thing that sticks out in my mind because it was so long ago, but I just remember like laying on my trampoline outside, closing my eyes, trying to go over like different voices because I knew I couldn't talk the way that I normally talk. I need to talk different. And I just remember like repeating the lines over and over in different voices, recording myself, and then listening back to the playback and trying to like pick which one I liked the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. You obviously, like, the role required a lot of. I mean, you mentioned the like pool of blood in your nightmares and stuff. Didn't you guys shoot some sort of like before we even start filming? Because you were the only one that was cast. Didn't you guys shoot some sort of like promo videos where you were like walking through blood and stuff?
Yes, it was so cold. It was freezing that day.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say it was the winter. And yeah, I had to be barefoot inside this old funeral home building, which I don't even think is there anymore. I'm pretty sure they tore it down.
Yeah, I think they tore it down. What can you tell us about that building? Because we shot like a good chunk of the film in there. What can you tell us about that building?
Um,
Do you remember the beaver?
oh,
Were you
I
there for
forgot
that?
about the beaver. Yeah, wasn't it this like stuffed like puppet that you guys were hiding?
So when we went there for the scout, and when we saw like when the promo video happened, we didn't see this beaver. It wasn't until later we were like snooping around like in the basement. And then, by the way, this was like an old condemned funeral home. Like it didn't have electricity. It had been shut down for like 30, 40 years, something like that. But we like go in the basement, and there's just this weird like beaver puppet thing in there. And yeah,
Yeah,
we would hide it around the set and try to like freak people out. It was called Kermit the Beaver because he talked in Kermit's voice for some reason. He's like, "Hey there, guys," and stuff. But like, yeah, that
oh
was a
yeah.
thing.
But you and I, we actually worked on My Friend Dahmer together.
We did. We worked on My Friend Dahmer together. You were we were both stand-ins on that. You've been doing a lot of stand-in work, as well in that. But yeah, we worked on all kinds of stuff besides that. I mean, we'll get to a bunch of these because I mean, like we were
I'm
in
jumping.
you were in Unlucky with me. Um, I think you had a small part in Second Time Around as well. And of course, you were just part of KSUIF. You were like part of the board, so we were like working with each other on a weekly basis. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was so fun. That was one of the highlights of my college career.
yeah,
College, yeah,
career,
was KSUIF.
yeah,
Like honestly, my time spent on the set of Hell at Heathridge, like you guys became like family to me, my closest friends. So I
yeah.
needed that.
Yeah, we all became friends. I mean, we're a lot of us are still friends to this day. I mean, a lot of us have been moving around and stuff, but I mean, like I'm still real good friends with Keegan. I'm still real good friends with you and all that. So it was definitely a
Yeah.
good point in my life as well, when we first got to all know each other. And me and you specifically, I mean, we worked a lot together on Heathridge because not only was I the casting director on the film, I also did all the special effects and makeup and stuff. So me and
Yeah.
you sort of worked hand in hand in a lot of ways with that.
You
Um,
made blood.
yeah, I made the blood and you threw it all over the place, basically. What was sort of the like? How did you feel about like all the special effects, and then obviously you had to have a lot of like makeup and hair work done on a daily basis. So what did you sort of think about the transformation into Emily?
My hair hated it. Hated it. um, yes, I had to get to set hours earlier than the actual start time just because, I was in hair and makeup for so long. Um, they had to tease my hair, which was very long at the time. They had to basically turn it into this like crazy fro, like
Yeah,
so they teased it up. Um, And yeah, they had to, I remember, like paint veins on my body, which took a long time. They made me more pale than I already am. Yeah, it was a long process, but it was fun. I remember listening to like Disney music, singing along with the girls. And
yeah. And that's another thing about working on these horror films and stuff. Like a lot of people might imagine that like behind the scenes it's like all dark and scary like because of the subject matter, but no, like we were always goofing around, hanging out.
always.
You're dancing to Disney songs in the dressing room and stuff. I mean like it was like a really good time. Like
I don't know, like I feel like even like in like the comedies and stuff like I worked on, I feel like those sets were more serious than the horror sets a lot of the times.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Well, I guess probably because you have to be in the zone for so long in this dark place that you just need to release some.
Yeah.
You need some comic relief.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite like set memories from Heathridge? Like any like things like that really stood out to you, like favorite shooting days or anything that you can recall?
Um, yeah, I think the times when we filmed the reenactment scenes with the college students who I had to murder, those were fun days.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, where did we film those? Was it it wasn't Verder. It was
It was Lake Hall with no
Lake Hall.
AC. Yeah.
Yes. I'm so used to no AC though. I mean, that's how I grew up. My family never had air conditioning, so I guess that wasn't awful.
Yeah. The only thing that like made it like really bad is like I mean as you know and for anyone who's listening to this who's been on a film set knows like those lights can get pretty hot. So I mean that was the only thing that made it like really unbearable and that and you're packing like 60 kids on one floor
Yeah.
of a
Oh, it was very hot. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think that's my favorite memories.
yeah.
Lake Hall.
Um Also, but I mean, besides doing like all the creepy stuff on set, I mean, you did have a couple scenes where you were normal Emily. Um, so what was that like pulling from something like a little less supernatural and a little because I mean, like you had like a big crying scene at the beginning, and stuff like that. So
Um, I yeah, I don't know. Those scenes weren't as fun as the other scene. uh, yeah, I mean, crying on set is always nerve-wracking. You can always put a lot of pressure on yourself trying to force that type of emotion, which when you do that, it never seems to happen. Um, but yeah, I guess advice for people who are trying to get emotional on set, what really helps me is the Meisner method, the emotional preparation, and just um, basically Meisner comes out of a place of you're not meditating on things that have actually happened to you in the past, like method acting, but you're meditating on things that could happen based on like people you know. Like it's really dark. Like you could like imagine your best friend dying in some accident and you just meditate on that for like 15 minutes.
yeah,
But doing stuff like that gets me there.
yeah. So yeah, Heathridge was a good experience for all of us. Do you remember your sort of like grand finale when you were finally done with doing all the blood and pig guts and stuff? Do you remember pouring 6 gallons of blood on me?
Oh, yes, it's all coming back to me now. Celine Dion says.
Yeah,
um,
because
yeah,
that
that
was
was
your
very
revenge.
satisfying. That was satisfying.
Because we called it your revenge because for the past like 3 or 4 weeks, like I had to put blood all over you and all over everything, and then so at the end I was
It-
like, all right, Jenna, when this is all over, whatever leftover blood we have left, you can just pour it all over me. So that's what we did.
and how did that feel?
It was pretty sticky. I mean, for those of you that don't know or
Yeah.
haven't seen like the behind the scenes videos of Heathridge, it was all basically it was like uncooked brownie batter with like red food dye, basically. So it was really sticky. I remember we tried to scare Jason with it because I like hid in one of the showers or something. Like, oh Jason, we need you cleaned off for the next scene. Like, go take a shower like real fast, and then he opens the
Oh,
shower curtain, and I'm just laying there with all this blood all over me.
that was so funny.
Yeah, you're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and I got to be a stand-in on Zombieland 2 here in Atlanta, which was great. But the blood that we used for that smelled like coffee because they actually put coffee in it.
Oh, really?
I remember one of the days that they had me be a photo double for one of the stunt women, and they put me in like the whole zombie get up. I smelled like Starbucks.
Yeah. I guess since we're on the topic of Zombieland 2, since we're talking horror films, I guess we can transition into that. That was one of the like more recent ones that you've done. I remember you texting me when you got the part. Like, you started out all casual, and then you were just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm on Zombieland 2 right now." I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that was a great experience. That was one of those things that was also very meant to be, just the way that happened, because I I got an email from this casting director here, and I had only submitted to one other project through her before, but she reached out to me about camera testing for the stand-in for Zoe Deutsch, who plays Madison in Zombieland 2. And so I ended up going to Pinewood to do a camera test for it. And Pinewood Studios is in Atlanta. It's in Fayetteville, like that area, and outside of the city. But when I went in for my camera test, one of the very first people who I see is his name's Adam Morgan, and I actually worked with him in Ohio on a movie called The Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
Not Bye Bye Man, not Bye Bye Man. Actually, it was called Wake. It was a Bruce Willis movie that filmed for like a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so actually, that was the crazy part. Yeah, it was only like a week of my life where I met him, became friends with him, a few other people, and then I see him at Pinewood Studios for Zombieland 2. He had moved up, so he was no longer a PA, he was actually an AD, and he was in charge of hiring stand-ins for it.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was like, Adam, hey! And he's like, Jenna! So it was great to see him, and because of that, they allowed me to be one of the first people to camera test for it. And I ended up, fitting her stats, and they like lined us up side by side together, and we were the same height and everything. So yeah, I ended up getting selected for that. And it just everything about it ended up working out, because I had just got hired at this movie theater restaurant, and the mandatory 2 weeks of training for this movie theater were like the 2 weeks that I wasn't needed on set of Zombieland. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, so everything worked out for you. So what can you tell me just about the whole experience of working on Zombieland 2? Probably the biggest budget thing that you've been a part of. Just what was that whole experience like?
Oh, it was incredible. Like, I actually made some of my best friends on that set. Yeah, like I said, we filmed scenes at Pinewood. We had a stage there, and then we also filmed around Atlanta. We filmed in Macon, Georgia for a week, where they actually, put us up, like housed us in a hotel. And just getting to, be around those actors, just like, so successful, so talented, was amazing. And they were all so kind.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what was sort of like the interaction like, because like on some other like professional sets that like we've been a part of, like when we were on like Dahmer together, for example, like it was professional set, but it's still like a very small crew, so all the actors and everyone like really like got to know each other and all that. But yeah, for like Zombieland 2, obviously a much bigger thing. Like, were you able, like, what was sort of your interaction with them?
Well, I definitely have had some conversations with Woody Harrelson. He's just so friendly, talks to everyone on set. And I'm trying to think of interactions. Same with Jesse Eisenberg. But actually, so probably the highlight of Zombieland 2 for me was the day that, they came up to me and they asked if I wanted to be a zombie and if I wanted to be a photo double for one of the stunt women. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. And they told me I was just going to be her dead body. So I was like, oh, whatever, it's still cool. So, they put me in hair and makeup and they turned me into this Jessica Simpson zombie.
Yeah.
We filmed this at a mall. And so I get on set and I'm just thinking that I'm going to just be laying there dead. Well, anyways, the director comes up to me and he starts coaching me through the scene. And I was like, oh, wait, you want me to do the whole scene?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And so, everything on a film set runs so fast. It's so quick. And so he just quickly ran me through everything he wanted me to do. And then, they get ready for the shot. And I was just like, wait, I kind of want a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a rehearsal.
Right.
And then, they yell action and I hear Woody and Jesse start talking and I'm just like, wow, I'm about to be in the scene right now. So I got to be shot by Tallahassee, which is Woody's character. And yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Was that were there any other shots that you were in? Because I know you were a stand-in, but I don't know if were there any parts where oh, that's the back of my head or just any stuff like that?
Yeah, I got to be, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie, but there's a commune that they all go to.
Yeah.
Which they're all, a bunch of hippies and trying to live in peace and, not kill any of the zombies. And, but yeah, I got to be in that scene as a featured extra. So you can see me a few times. Very fast. It goes by so quick. And then I got to photo double for more of Madison's scenes. And mainly I did those in a car. So I did those with the stunt unit.
Cool. So overall, it was a very positive experience for you and everything.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was great. Mm-hmm.
Did you get to? I don't know. Did you get to go to any of the premieres or anything, or?
No, I wish, but we had our own little premiere. Actually, the movie theater that I worked at called Cinebistro was very kind and let me have the entire theater and invite, as many people as I wanted from the film who worked on the film. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So you've been doing the stand-in work for a little bit. you mentioned you did it in Zombieland 2. You did it in My Friend Dahmer. You did it in Bye Bye Man. How have you been enjoying the stand-in life?
Oh, the stand-in life, it's obviously the goal is acting, for sure. But being a stand-in is it's amazing because you get to be on set and you get to observe and you get to learn. And it's great being able to watch the actors rehearse. So you get to see the interaction between them and the director, and you kind of get to see a little bit of their process. And you get opportunities to actually say the lines, which on Zombieland 2 is one of the things that we got to do because they give the stand-in sides every morning. And then sometimes when you're in second team rehearsal, they want, a very accurate representation of what the scene is going to, what the pacing of the scene is going to be like, as for, audio, lighting, camera, so they can rehearse with the cameraman and the camera operator and stuff. So you get to actually say the lines, which is really neat. Kind of gives you practice acting at the same time.
Yeah, when we did a little bit of that together on My Friend Dahmer, because you were the stand-in for Anne Heche, the mother. What was that experience like working on Dahmer?
That was very neat because we got to actually be at Jeffrey Dahmer's childhood home. So that was so cool and freaky.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I remember and thinking it was strange is that they put the crafty table like right next to, was it like I don't know what it was. It was like the cellar or something. They put the crafty table like right next to the cellar door.
Oh yeah, it was so for those of you who haven't seen the film or know about the Dahmer house, like out back there's like a back porch with a spiral staircase that goes down. I think it's a spiral staircase. But yeah, the crafty table was right down there by the basement and by this crawl space. And that crawl space is actually where he hid the first body. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did. Okay, crawl space.
Yeah.
That's called. Yeah, I thought that was so freaky that they put the crafty table right there. And then I remembered wanting a snack one night, walking down that spiral staircase, and it was dark and nobody was down there. And I was like, oh, yeah. Hell no.
It was only down there for the scenes that were like, we needed that upstairs portion. But like for most of the time, it was actually up like on the porch. So it wasn't down there the entire time. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still a controversial place, I guess. What else about Dahmer was fun for you? I know we shared a few scenes together because you were the stand-in for Anne Heche and I was the stand-in for everyone else, so
utility stand-in.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, yeah, it was really fun getting to experience that with you and be there together. I really enjoyed talking to Dallas Roberts and becoming friends with him.
Yeah.
That was nice. And trying to think of other experiences on that set because it's been so long.
Yeah. I remember we had because I was Dallas and you were Anne, and I remember we had to get in like a fake fight like 10 times in a parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
So that was interesting.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting in the car next to Austin Lynch, right?
Ross Lynch.
Austin Lynch. Oh no, cut that part out.
That's okay.
Yes, Ross Lynch.
You're thinking, well, because you combined his name because he was Austin and Alley.
Okay,
so
that's why.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
But yes, sitting next to Ross Lynch in the car, and then like, you know, these teens driving by, being like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, he was quite the ladies' man on set. Super cool guy though. He's really great to work with. So.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, spaz bros for life, as we called ourselves, because I would go in and have to spaz out and go crazy, and then he would do the same thing right after. So.
He would.
Yeah.
He had a lot of scenes like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Dahmer was a lot of fun. Obviously, having you there was great because, as I said, I'm kind of a shy person, so it was kind of nice having someone I knew around. So it was fun for me. Yeah. So yeah, were there any other films that you were a stand-in for? I know you mentioned you were in Bye Bye Man. I was not on that set, so what was that one like?
Bye Bye Man. Yeah, that was filmed in Cleveland. That film, I want to say it came out in 2017. I was a stand-in for Cressida Bonus, and that movie takes it's about a group of friends who move into this house, and they start uncovering like this history behind this like evil force power, the bye-bye man. I'm not explaining it right.
That's okay.
But yeah, that was really funny because actually the man who plays the bye-bye man, Doug Jones.
Yeah,
So
the modern day man of 1,000 faces, yeah.
Yes, he looked so scary dressed up as bye-bye man, in like all black and then these like creepy contacts, and he just looked terrifying. But he was so sweet, and I remember one time him like hugging me in that costume and that getup, and just thinking like, man, if somebody else saw this and they didn't realize we were on a movie set, it would look so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So was that a fun set to be on?
It was really fun. Actually, I became friends with an AD on that set who lives in Atlanta, and he's actually one of the reasons that I moved here. So my acting teacher from the Hood School of Acting, he was probably the main reason why I moved to Atlanta, but Nate was definitely another reason, because he told me about how much was going on here in the city.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you've been down there for a while now, like 3 or 4 years, right? You said?
Yeah, not quite 4 years, but.
Yeah, so how's everything been down there? Just, do you like it better than Ohio? I mean, obviously with work, I'm sure it's a lot better, but like, how is it in comparison to, because you grew up in Ohio, right? You were always around the area?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I love it here. It's so green. Like, that's one of the things I love about Atlanta, is that it's like a city among the trees, really. There's just so many walking spaces where you can be in the city, but it feels like you're not. And there's just a lot of opportunity. Great place to move if you're interested in acting. Yeah. Lots of opportunity to get those co-star roles and build up your resume.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's amazing. Are there any other projects sort of with like a spooky vibe that you wanted to talk about that we haven't mentioned already?
Not really. I don't think. Yeah, I think those are all the projects I've been a part of that have a spooky vibe, which is almost all of them.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Almost all of them. Weren't you? I'm trying to think too. Oh, didn't we do like some sort of like for KSUAF like a real quick like zombie thing? Weren't you in that?
Oh yeah, it was like a Halloween spoof.
Yeah, it was just like a little like 2 minute short or something. I think we did.
Yeah,
Because I was a zombie in it. I think you like were in the car or something. And we were like chasing you or something.
Yeah, we did do that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. And I'll ask you about this little film. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's not a horror film, but it has some like spooky things involved. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I've had a few people on the show before, and we did not talk about it at all. And then after we're done recording, they were like, "Oh, well, you didn't even talk about Unlucky," and I was like, "Oh no, I didn't even bring it up."
And you were the director.
I did co-director. The great Keegan Larwin helped each other out with that one. So that was the big one that we did right after Heathridge. It was a little bit of a different vibe because obviously it was a comedy, but it did have some spooky elements to it. It had like road trip elements to it. I think people call it sort of like the Alice in Wonderland of comedies because it's just like these normal like straight like characters that like aren't like goofy or anything, but they get put into all these like goofy situations basically.
Yes. Zany.
So what can you tell me sort of like as we wind down here, what can you tell me about Unlucky? What was that whole experience like for you?
Oh, Unlucky. Well, it was great having you and Keegan as directors. That's for sure. I loved working with you guys. Um, it was great to have another role that was, completely different from Emily in Hell at Heathridge. And, geez, I'm trying to think back to it. I haven't thought about it in so long.
Yeah, it happens. But like, because I know you mentioned that you like playing like different types of characters. Like, I mean, Emily obviously is nothing like you are in real life. Um, but your character in Unlucky, I mean, it's more similar to just you as a person, really. I mean, like, so what was that kind of like playing more just like a standard role? And I mean, you were the lead in the film. I mean, you were the main love interest. So what was it like, sort of championing the film there?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I think it was a little bit more difficult in a way than acting in Hell at Heathridge because I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun getting to play around and like we had different aspects of improv that we got to do, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was because one of the things that we wanted to do on that set was the script is there, but we really wanted the actors to sort of play around with the lines and like as long as like the story still moves forward, like we pretty much gave everyone like free reign to tweak things here and there. So that was a lot of fun for all of us. So it was a great time.
It was. I think what I need to start doing honestly is like journaling more because I think back to like different experiences and I'm like, I wish I remembered more details,
Yeah.
Like maybe if I start journaling.
When we did start Unlucky, I did have like a little journal where I kept like little notes, but I think I stopped like after like 4 days, pretty much. Because I mean, like as you know, we just get like so busy and like caught up with things. Like it's hard to like sit down and like, oh, let's think about my day or whatever. Because I mean, we're there for like, well, you were there for like 12 hours a day. I mean, me and Keegan were there for like 16, 17 hours a day doing stuff. So
yeah.
So yeah, you so obviously we started with you in theater and stuff, and one of the things that you liked was like the instant like reactions from the crowd. With films is a little bit different. Obviously for the films like we would have premieres like Heathridge and Unlucky had a premiere. So what is it like for you to sort of see your work up there on the screen and get the reactions from it?
I mean, I never really enjoy watching myself because I'm super self-critical and I'm definitely a perfectionist. So, I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, I should have done it different. I should have done it this way instead of that way. And nothing is ever, 100% good enough because there's always something that you can be working on as an actor. But it is fun to hear, the audience's reactions, and I do really enjoy that part.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So
it's fun getting to celebrate your work and your hard work.
Yeah. So what do we have to look forward to? Like, what is the next project you're working on? Like, because I know you've written a few things. Like, are you working on anything?
Well, right now I've been working on the tea business.
Yeah.
That, and I've also been auditioning. So I have an agent here in Atlanta who I really love. I just got new headshots. So, with the pandemic and everything going on, it's kind of been putting the industry at it's now just starting to start back up. Kind of. There haven't been too many auditions, so everything's been kind of slow around here. But at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of casting directors were actually doing these open calls. And it was really neat because they were giving you, a list of different like sides that you could choose from and then submit to these open calls. And it's a chance for you to submit your work so they get to see you, and and hopefully they'll remember you for projects in the future.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
so
yeah, well, hopefully once things start to improve, either if not in the next few months, hopefully next year, you can get to do some more amazing things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, tell all the lovely people at home where they can find you on social media if they want to keep up with what you're doing. Do you have like a official Facebook page or anything? And plug your tea stuff again.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I have a Facebook page now for 4 Stages Tea. My company is called 4 Stages Tea and Herbals, but I'm also on Instagram as at 4 Stages Tea. And I have a website. It's going to be coming soon. So if you want, you can actually go on my website and you can subscribe to my mailing list, and then you can be entered into a raffle right now to win one of my tea blends called Bask in the Sunshine.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone goes and subscribes to the mailing list. Did you have like an acting page on Facebook?
I don't have an acting page on Facebook, but yeah, you can follow me at Jenna Danielle 2 on Instagram, and I also have a Facebook page.
Awesome.
But
well, yeah. So yeah, hopefully you're working on some great stuff in the future. And yeah, thanks for having this conversation with me. It was great getting to catch up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How often are you coming back to Ohio now?
Well, so I was actually just in Ohio for my brother's wedding. We just did a really small thing, but I'm going back actually October 9th, because he's actually doing another wedding.
Oh, really?
So yeah, my brother just got married, and I don't know if you know, but he had been living in Japan for 3 years.
Oh, has he? I'm gonna have to talk to him, because I've been trying to get out there because that's like one of my like bucket lists. It's like, all right, I gotta go to Japan. So
you should. Actually, my family went a few years ago.
Oh, really? What was that like?
Wow. Well, starting with the plane ride there. The plane ride there is freaking awful. And my parents, so in order to save money, my mom's like, we need to fly out of Toronto because it will save us hundreds of dollars. And so we ended up doing a road trip to Toronto, which took forever. And then from Toronto, flying back to the States, and then we did like so many different flights. We did like 3 different flights actually. And it took over 24 hours of travel time to get there.
Yeah. Cause one of my friends actually went last year, and I think he flew to Chicago and then from Chicago to Alaska and then Alaska to Japan. And he said it was just like miserable, but he just tried to like sleep the whole time.
Yeah, we went from Toronto to, I want to say it was like Detroit. And then from like Detroit to San Francisco to Nagoya to, where did we go first? I don't know. We had multiple flights. Like once we got to Japan, we had another flight to then get to where my brother was at.
Yeah.
But anyways, the flight was awful. But once we got there, it was great. And I think one of the things that I took away from the trip was that the country, there's like no litter anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And but you don't see like any trash cans. And so And they're just so, conscious of the environment. Like, there's no paper towels in the bathrooms. Like, all of the women carry these towels in their purses, these, like, hand towels. And so there's just not a lot of waste. There's, the people are just so, what would be the word for it? Like,
smarter than
for
us.
instance, like, not necessarily that, but, like, when you're in a mall, instead of, all clustering up this escalator, they're all in a single file line, and nobody passes each other.
Yeah.
They're just very, like, well behaved, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much different here with everything, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. The food was great, though. They have these really neat revolving sushi bars, which I would highly suggest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try one of those out when I finally get there. That's me and my wife say, like, when she's done with grad school and, like, before, like, we have kids or, like, any of that, like, we need to, like, go out to Japan, because we both just love, like, Japanese culture. We love sushi and stuff, obviously. It's just always sort of been, like, a dream vacation for the both of us, so.
Yeah, you guys should.
Yeah.
You should go to the deer park.
What's that?
That was what is it actually called? Well, I'll text it to you because I'm blanking on the name of the actual deer park, but you can actually, like, they give you different biscuits, and the deer will come up to you, and you can pet them.
Oh, really?
And there's, like, hundreds of them.
Yeah.
You feel like Snow White.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, it was really cool. It makes you smile. They're kind of scary, though, because they all like charge at you when you have the biscuit in your hand.
Oh yeah.
They all come up, and, like, some of them get kind of aggressive, but other than that, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do some type of reunion, some type of just, like, KSUIF reunion. I know that we kind of did that the last time I came back in town. Well, the time before my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
For Christmas. We ended up going bowling.
Yeah.
With some people, but yeah, I would like to do something again.
Yeah.
Or not, it doesn't even have to be official. Just, hanging out with you and a few other people.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, hopefully once things start getting back to normal, you can come back, and then hopefully I can come down there at some point and see, because I've never really been to Atlanta or anything, so.
Oh, I would love to show you around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully when your online store's up and stuff, I'll pick up some tea and all that, so.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I had somebody message me on Instagram. I actually have to get back to her. The first message I've had where somebody's like, I love your chai at Juliana's, and she's like, can I buy a gallon?
Yeah. Yeah, you're just like,
I don't sell it by the gallon, but
yeah,
that was nice. And I'm like, dang, she has 5,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
We're giving me a shout out.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you go about your day and all that. So yeah, just thanks for hanging out and all that.
Of course. It's nice chatting again.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great talking to you too.
Well, that's about it for this time, guys. I hope you enjoyed the premiere of Season 3 of the House of Horror podcast. I want to once again say thanks to Jenna for coming on the show. Make sure you guys go check out her tea company. Go check out her acting website, jennakramer.net. And I just once again want to remind you guys, if you're not subscribed to the show over on YouTube or whatever podcast streaming service you're listening to this on, make sure you go and do that. It really helps me out a lot. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a rating and review. Well, that is about it this time, guys. I hope to see you back here next week for another episode of the House of Horror podcast. And I will see you back here on YouTube tomorrow for another spooky video. That's it for this time, so as always, take care and stay spooky.